Number 26. Left-handers comprise 12% of the population. 50.8% are women, and 2% of the population is red-headed. How many left-handed, red-headed men are there in Texas? The population of Texas is 29.15 million. So in cases like this, where you have probabilities of different events, so like the probability of being left-handed would be 12%. The probability of being a woman would be 50.8%. When you have probabilities like this and you want to find the probability of multiple of them happening at the same time, as long as they're independent of each other, you can just multiply them. So the probability of being left-handed, red-headed, and a man would be the probability of being left-handed, which is 0.12, times the probability of being red-headed, which would be 0.02, times the probability of being a man, which isn't explicitly given, but it says that 50.8% are women. So you can just subtract and say that 0.492% 0.492 are men. Then if you multiply all of these together, you get the probability of being a left-handed, red-headed man in Texas, which comes out to be 0.0011808. Then if you want to find the amount of instances of this happening in Texas, you just multiply by the population of Texas, which is 29.15 million. So let's see, if we get our calculator, and we start off by getting our probability, so 0.12 times 0.02 times 0.492, and then multiply by 29.15 million, so I did the times 10 to the 6 for a million, you get, if we round to 3 sig figs, 34,400 people. So, first answer is going to be 34,400. Alright, let's look at number 27 now. So, an 8-foot 2x4 piece of lumber is not 2 inches by 4 inches in cross-section. It is actually 1 5/8 inch by 3 5/8 inch. What is the percent decrease in volume? So, to calculate percent decrease, we use this formula. You take 100 times 1 minus the small amount, so in this case will be the decreased volume, over the large amount, which would be the assumed value of it actually being a 2 by 4 instead of a 1 5/8 by 3 5/8. So we just have to calculate what these two volumes are. So our small volume, one of these pieces of lumber is just going to be a rectangular prism, right? So we can just take the cross-sectional area and multiply by the height. It's just base length times width times height. So for the small one, our base times width, or our length times width, our length times width is going to be 1 5/8, which I'm going to say is 1.625, and then 3 5/8, 3.625, and then just multiply by the height. Now the height for both of these is 8 feet, which comes out to 96 inches. And so if we multiply all of these together, we get the total volume in cubic inches of 565.5 cubic inches. And then we just do the same thing for the assumed size, the 2 by 4 piece of lumber. So that would this is a little bit simpler, just 2 times 4 times 96. And if you do that, you get 768 cubic inches. Now all we have to do is plug into our formula. So we have 100 times 1 minus the small volume, so 565.5, over the large volume, which is 768. And let's go to our calculator. So 100 times 1 minus 565.5 over 768. Let's see what we get. Looks like we're going to get 26.4% decrease. So that is our answer, 26.4%. Alright, let's move on to number 28. So let's see, a tube of toothpaste is a cylinder that is 5.5 inches long and 0.78 inches in diameter. One brushing uses a cube 0.25 inches on a side. If a person brushes twice daily, how long does a tube last? So first thing I'm going to find is the total amount of toothpaste that is actually in the cylinder. So I can do that by just finding the volume. Volume is pi times the radius squared times the height of the cylinder. And we have most of this information, so pi is just going to be pi. We don't get the radius, but we get the diameter. So if the diameter is 0.78 inches, we can just divide that by 2 for the radius, which is 0.39. So pi times 0.39 squared times the height. Does it tell us the height? Yes, it says it's 5.5 inches long. So I'll multiply this by 5.5, and we get 2 point, I'm rounding here, but we're not going to round in the final calculation. We get 2.63 cubic inches of toothpaste. So if we want to find out how many days this will last, we have to find out how many cubic inches she uses on just in one day. So if one brushing uses a cube that is 0.25 inches on a side, then the volume of that toothpaste is just the volume of a cube, which is just the edge cubed, or side cubed. And so if the edge is 0.25 inches, if we cube that, we get a length of 0.01565 cubic inches. And then we brush twice daily, so the total amount of toothpaste used per day will be double that, or 0.03125 cubic inches. So what we have here, we have the total amount of toothpaste in the container and the amount that you use per day. So if we want to find the number of days that it will last, we can just divide these two things. So in our numerator, we have the volume of the cylinder, which is just pi times 0.39 squared. Forgot my time sign. 1 second. Okay. Pi times 0.39 squared times 5.5. And then on the bottom, it will be 0.25 cubed multiplied by 2. And so, rounding to 3 sig figs, we get 84.1 days. Okay, so number 20, it's going to be 84.1 days. Alright, so if you have any questions or other tests, make sure to leave a comment and I'll make a video with the solution. With that said, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe. This has been Investigative Math, and I will see you next time.